All right. The fifth SCP to read today, and I'm feeling good. I'm wide awake. I got the energy. Henry's still there. Yeah. Alrighty then. I hope people who watch this right now, I hope you guys are enjoying it as much as I am. I'm having a good time. I think the first 4 SCPs were really good. They're really good. They're easy to bounce off and just make comments and make jokes about. I understood what each one of them do and what they meant to do, and what the description is explaining and all that stuff. That's always a good sign when you read an SCP and you're immediately oh, I get it. Because sometimes you read an SCP you don't understand until the tests happen. You're like, oh, okay, but it's kind of weird having that phase, because then the whole time you're asking questions, and then once the experiments are read, you're like, now I get it. But the worst part is, of course, whenever you read an SCP and you're just like, I have no idea what I just read. That's the worst. I still enjoy reading it then, but at the end, I just can't really explain it to anybody else or to myself again, because that's what I do. I have to think of it through it. I'm like, what? Especially when I have to do thumbnails and the videos afterwards. I have to think of descriptions and all that stuff. I don't know. I didn't fully understand it. Luckily, most of the time when I do descriptions and reread it, then I get it. Because sometimes, the fact that I'm streaming this and I'm trying to read them out loud sometimes can cause me to just not pay attention and just reading. I just shut my brain off. The brutal brick is this one. Now, Euclid. This doesn't seem to be working no more. Come on. Work with me here. Oh, well, it did work. Second Euclid. We had 3 saves, 2 Euclids now. SCP-1434 is held in a standard containment cell, empty safe, blank book labeled Charter of Etna, and a copy of the Federal Criminal Code and Rules. Well, Charter of Etna, eh? No capes. Records of the state of Nevada have been altered to register the 25 square meters of the cell as an unincorporated township of Etna, now abandoned. Currently, containment procedures were devised to forestall the transfers of SCP-1434's affecting to larger cities or counties. A fresh copy of the FCC and R should be placed next to the SCP monthly, while the previously month's copy should be incinerated unread. Okay. All security personnel assigned to Site 47 are subject to an annual participation in Foundation Standard Seminar. The application of force in arrests and you. This is in addition to all other regulation, orientation, and training sessions. SCP-1434 is a large fragment of extruded clay brick, dull red in color, which while totally inert somehow affects the insertion of increasingly bizarre and impractical laws into the legal code of the nearest sufficiently small municipality. Where borders overlap, SCP-1434 has always shown preference for a smaller body. Affected legislatures show no memories of instituting any such laws or will enforce them without protests. So, do they just does this brick just make laws up? And people look at it like, yeah, that sounds like a... I mean, to be fair, in America, there's a lot of laws that don't make sense. Is this the reason? Is this brick the reason? During the early phase of the brick's influence, governments have been observed to pass laws of extremely limited applicability, such as a ban of smoking on Tuesdays. Okay, so it literally what it is. It just makes laws up that probably will not be possible. Like every Monday you should fly to work. And if you if your work is in the city and you just have a 15-minute drive from it, which lucky for you if that is the case, because 15 minutes is a short time to drive to get to work. However, as the infection progresses, the activities prescribed in this manner become increasingly innocuous, while the penalties grow increasingly severe to the point of life-threatening. So it would be oh, if you don't Every Saturday you should feed a wild hedgehog, and if you don't, we'll shoot you. Like, whoa, man, how are we supposed to follow that? We live in Manhattan, man. There's no a wild hedgehog in Manhattan. Where are we supposed to find that? SCP-1434 further affects local law enforcement who develop progressively violent mentalities over time. I mean, that's, again, the US has already covered, but I can imagine Europe police force would not be a lot of fun then. These mental alterations do not linger after SCP-1434's relocation. Officers with more than 6 months of exposure compulsively apply excessive, often lethal force to any and all they suspect of transgressions. Okay. Incident log. Since recovery, investigators into several public disturbances have recovered other SCP-1434 fragments of varying size. Unrest is believed to have subsided when a party of parties unknown removed the object from the municipal. How do you say this? Pronunciation, please. Municipality. I never heard that word before, nor have I ever said it, nor have I ever read it. Or maybe I heard it and I just completely ignored it. The object's whereabouts between incidents is as yet unknown, though research is continuing. Any outbreaks of police violence linked to recently introduced legislation should be studied for signs of objects influenced by the appropriate mobile task force. And I'm just going to double check if this is the correct. Yeah, okay, the man in orange. Yeah, let's read this. Let's read this after the SCP stuff because it is pretty short. There's nothing much left. So case 1, 12/18/1987. Montgomery County in Maryland outlaws the use of shrimp in clearing snow from highways. 6 injured in collision with state-operated snow plows. Case 4, 1/24/1992. City of Redacted makes the wearing of contact lenses compulsory for all residents who died between 1947 and 1962. City police officers conduct spontaneous mass disinterment, which results in the examination of over 3,000 sets of human remains. God damn, boy. Case 21, 8/2/2007. A small town in France limits consumption of all beverages containing less than 3% gasoline by volume. 62 killed by ingestion of toxic substances or in beverage compliance raids. Crazy stuff. Crazy laws. But here we have now saying fragments of varying sizes called the Orange Man. The Man in Orange. Chris Kelly awoke to a glint of sunlight reflected on his window. A beautiful day, yes. Such luscious colors in the flowers outside, reds, violets, yellows, blues. He climbed out of the bed and considered the clothes in his closet. It was a magnificent collection indeed. So many vivid hues, like the flowers. How could he possibly have a preference? Kelly returned from the shower 10 minutes later to appraise the clothes once again. When he had finally decided upon the blue jeans and green shirt, something caught his eye. A hint of orange. His heart stuttered. He scanned the floor outside his window and found the source. A single orange rose had sprung up among its red siblings. Kelly seized the hedge trimmers he kept ready against his wall, pried open his window, and leaped into the yard. In a matter of seconds, he decapitated the problematic blossom and smuggled it back into the house. He hung the trimmers back upon the rack and lowered his gaze. Below them was a bowl. Below them was a bowl that he had always ready for his contingency. Kelly stuffed the flower in the bowl and retrieved his lighter. With a moment, the rose was ablaze. He watched it burn with a stone-carved face. Once it was no more than ash, he scooped the remains up and sprinkled them over the yard. Kelly turned on the spot, examining every corner of the lawn, his heart still on double time. Upon verifying that no further contaminants were present, he went back inside, exhaling deeply. Is that like one of the laws you're not allowed to have an orange rose? Or is Kelly just very, very OCD when it comes to orange? Don't show this man orange piccolo now, he would hate it. Kelly joined his sister and parents at breakfast. His father brought a massive plate of beautifully browned French toast to the table. His mother passed the syrup and butter around at everyone as everyone took their places. Kelly's little sister was 7 years younger than him, and eager and mischievous 9 years old. So Kelly is 16? 16, he was just fucking like jumping out windows, like cutting the roses, like you can't live. She scarfed down the bread, making a mess of her cheeks and placemat. As this marvelous spectacle was occurring, Kelly's father addressed him. You remember what you promised to do today? Of course. Good boy. His father wiped his bottom lip clean of syrup. Got your outfit picked out? Yes. His father looked at him wearily for a moment. A man at my office brought one of his old hats to work yesterday. Kelly looked at his father, a piece of toast suspended on his fork. The latter went on. It was a lovely blue hat, but it had a tiny streak. He traced his finger around his scalp. It's like he probably hadn't even noticed when he put it on. The room was silent. Kelly cleared his throat. What happened to him? His father sighed. Well, he called the police, of course. He had been arrested himself if he hadn't. Kelly closed his eyes slowly and repeated, what happened to him? His father gave a jerk of the head. The usual. The family drew a slow and grim breath. You understand what I'm trying to make clear, Chris, he told his son. Yes, I understand, Kelly replied. Breakfast continued without further incident until the little sister piped up. Where's the carrot juice? We used to have it all the time. Why can't we have some? So I get what the father is trying to say. He had a blue hat but a streak of orange, and the mood shifted abruptly. It was not the solemn quiet of the father's story, though. It was a mood of panic. The mother flung her hand across the table and covered her daughter's mouth, uttering a kind of muted scream. The father's head started around, looking out the window. Kelly was struck by a sudden, frightful image of the rose he had burned his morning. The girl gazed at her mother, terrified. We talked about this, dear. We can't have carrot juice anymore. Or she gave a small gag. You know, the other kind. She lowered her hand from the girl's mouth, who looked down at her empty plate, shaking slightly. Kelly got to his feet. I should probably get going. His parents looked up at him. Be careful, his mother said. Kelly nodded. Ooh, yeah, there's definitely... Oh god, this is definitely fucked up. When I read the 3 other laws, I was like, I don't really imagine how this works. But so basically orange is outlawed now. This makes it understandable. This makes it easy to understand how messed up the law is. He left the house at a brisk pace. The dull grey morning casting a dim illumination over the town. Kelly set off down the main street, looking at the jacket and sweater and scarf that the other participants had produced for the day. Almost entirely cool hues, purples, blue, greens, black. It was unsurprising. Who sold the man? Okay, I assume the hat he was wearing, he had the hat before the law became a thing. Because I was about to say, who would sell orange clothing if it becomes illegal? A few people came out in reds, yellow, pinks, browns, but there was very few. Not a lot of risk takers out there. Kelly exhaled, his breath lingering on the air. There was nothing wrong with the cool colors, but it was just, things had to be the way it had to be, and it got old. So yeah, because yellow and red are close enough to orange. Same with browns, I would argue, because brown is if you ever try to edit or in Photoshop and Adobe and you get the color wheel, not the color wheel, but a square where you can put the numbers in. I don't actually know what the numbers are called again. You usually just go to orange and then make it go in the black side of the orange, and that's when it becomes brown. So yeah, I can see why brown is a risky thing. Kelly stopped by the mail office in the town square and dropped off the letter his father had given him. His task completed, he glanced around the square for a possible lunch site. He settled on the burger joint which had recently opened and headed over. However, his trip was interrupted by what came bursting out the restaurant's door. Kelly blinked, was seeming to shrink for the tiniest of moments. There a man stood, draped from head to toe in the most bizarre assortment of clothes ever. Coats, ties, scarves, belts, and every single fragment showing a different or glaring shade of orange. The man stood in the square, rotating slightly, gazing at the bystander who stared back at him, mouth ajar. That must be like, that must be like if, you know, the most rebellious person there was like, oh my god. Vaguely, Kelly heard the sirens in the distance. The man walked out the center of the square, his arms outstretched and a great wide smile upon his face. He laughed. Why are you afraid? It's your color. You must take it back. They will only take the more from you. What's next? Your wooden chairs, your caffeinated drinks, your light-hearted children. Take it back. Do not cower. Take everything back. At the moment, the man in orange was obscured by the bodies of several thick policemen which had leaped upon him. The square stood in silence, every eye staring at the struggling mass in its center. The police chief marched over and watched the man, beating and bleeding, dragged to his feet. Cheeky little cunt, aren't you? The chief said as he smacked his baton across the man's shins. Well, I like the spirit. It makes it so much more fun. He let out a whistle. Gents, fetch the boiling paint. We got a badass on our hands here. Let's give him the tour. The man was forced to his knees as two more policemen hauled over the top of hot blue paint. Oh god. Boiling paint. I cannot even imagine how much I must hurt, and also it must like stick so much. The chief chuckled as the top was raised up and toward the man's head. As the top rim was inched from his hair, a yell rent the frigid morning air. They're orange! The chief and his men turned just in time to see the gargantuan mob which bore down upon them. The small force stood no chance. Kelly gazed in terror and amazement as the rebels took to the street. Oh yeah, hell yeah, get your orange back, boys! Bearing great tall banners of orange which pierced the grey morning and filled Kelly with terrific wonder. He remembered only in self-denied dreams. It was time. They would take it back. They would take back their orange, their world. It was time. The outbreak of violence in Honeywood has been successfully suppressed. The incident of SCP-1434, which triggered the anomalous activity, has been recovered. No further events have occurred. That must be wild. That's wild. The brutal brick, it is definitely brutal. No, there's no lies there. God damn. We have some really fun SCPs today. I'm glad. Does that mean they don't get to drink orange juice or mango juice? Oh no! Oops, accidentally closed that. Didn't mean to close it. That must suck. No eating carrots. No drinking orange juice. No drinking mandarin oranges and all that, and clementines and all that stuff. Damn. Even like the cheese on your burger, like especially the one like, you know, the fucking fast food cheese is usually orange, so none of that. You don't get to have any of that.